And as the number of confirmed measles cases in the Waikato continues to grow, all schools in the region are being advised to start looking at students' vaccination records. Well, earlier on this morning, we spoke to Katherine Smith of the group No Forced Vaccines, and she questioned this request. Our interview sparked a massive response. With us now, Nikki Turner from the Immunisation Advisory Centre. Morning.
Yes, good morning.
Now, one of the treatments that Katherine Smith was putting forward for the complications from measles was intravenous vitamin C. Now, do you know of any basis where that would be something that would be helpful?
There is no basis. There is evidence around that people have trialled it in a range of places, and there is no strong evidence. There is evidence that malnourished children die more of measles, and particularly the use of vitamin A, but this is oral vitamin A, and it's used widely in developing countries. What we do know is a good, healthy diet helps children with any virus. Having said that, we've got very clear evidence that healthy, well-nourished, well-loved children still die of measles. So no to IV vitamin C, but certainly a good diet.
Okay. She was also talking about nutrition, about the benefits of a good diet. She was talking about herbal medicine as well. How useful, essentially, is that within treating measles and any of the complications that can result?
Well, as I said before, always nutrition is important for any person with any viral illness, and good nutrition makes a huge difference. But we do know, and we have a lot of evidence, that healthy children still get brain damage and can still die from measles. And there are people out there who have experienced measles that know you do the best you can, you do everything for your children, and there are still very nasty infectious diseases. I mean, I do want to say that national immunisation programs for measles are used in every single country in the world. It's made more difference to children's lives than pretty well anything else. In terms of scientific evidence base out there, we know that sanitation, hygiene, nutrition and childhood vaccination programs have made more difference to childhood mortality and illness than pretty well anything in science.
So
it's pretty compelling.
Okay, so why do you think there is still a group of people who believe that this sort of thing is dangerous?
Well, it's true for anything in medicine, and I think it's appropriate to have people raising doubts always. And I think it's important that we air them and listen to them. I think the important thing is to remember the difference between one person's personal opinion and a large bulk of scientific evidence. Science doesn't always get things right, but accumulates evidence over time, and that's really what we're looking for, is the bulk of a large amount of scientific evidence behind what we do. I mean, New Zealand doesn't go for every vaccination in the world. Not all vaccines are the same. What New Zealand chooses, with the recommendation of the World Health Authorities, is the safe vaccines that make a dramatic difference to children's lives.
So you say that they're still part of the debate for this alternative point of view. You don't just think this is, frightening or quackery?
Well, I think it's important to separate somebody's individual opinion and listen to it and respect it, but recognise it is not the same thing as the bulk of scientific evidence. And this is such as this is myths are created. And I understand that people keep raising the issue of whether the measles vaccine is related to autism. That was a hypothesis back in 1998. There's a huge amount of scientific evidence showing there is no link. But once you create a myth, it never dies. It's like the flame of publicity. And science is a slow-growing, developing, building evidence base. We have strong evidence base that a myth like that is just a myth, there is no association. And yet people sort of get stuck and remember the original hypothesis and don't move on from it.
So do you think people then are being derailed by a conspiracy theory that just refuses to die?
I think that happens at times. I think people think where there's smoke, there's fire. If somebody suggested something, therefore there must be something. And of course, in a range of things in medicine, we don't always get it right. So it is appropriate to question. But once there is really strong scientific evidence, then let's really support it. It's made such a difference to healthcare for our children. And just look at history and look and see what progress we've made, and that we no longer have brain damage from measles in the New Zealand community. We no longer have 1 in 2,000 children dying. We no longer have children flooding our hospitals with measles. I think the other challenge for vaccination programs is the better you do, the more you forget what it used to look like.
Just very quickly, Nikki, one of the other things that Katherine Smith raised was that people had allergic reactions to the measles vaccine or the MMR vaccine. What are those levels like?
Yeah, sure. So you can have a severe, what we call anaphylaxis, allergic reaction to any product, like to any medication or any vaccine. And for anyone who's been in recently for their flu vaccines, you'll notice that the healthcare provider says, please wait 20 minutes afterwards. Because a severe allergic reaction can be treated and can be treated effectively. And New Zealand has not had any deaths from the childhood immunisation program from severe allergic reactions. They're very rare. For the measles vaccine, probably in the order of 1 in a million, but they're immediately treatable and they're resolvable. And as people know, they happen with all medications that we use across medicine.
Nikki Turner, thank you very much for your time on Morning Report. She's from the Immunisation Advisory Centre.